When you're building a YouTube video studio or a live streaming studio, you are going to face challenges. So what are some of the common challenges you're going to face and how do you overcome them? That's all today. So I'm going to give you 3 challenges that you may face in your video studio setup process and how I overcame them, because here in this studio, I actually have one of the worst possible environments for a studio. Number 1, a small space. Okay, this is an 850 square foot studio apartment. So this is my living space and my studio all in one. You have no excuses. Number 2, we're gonna talk about audio and echo. Whew, brick walls, hardwood floors, open space, talk about echo. Number 3, lighting. I have windows galore in here, lots of natural light, which in a studio space you really shouldn't have. You should control your light, but I refuse to. I'll tell you why and how we dealt with that here in this studio. If you're new around here, please do type new in the comments. I would love to meet you. And if you are new, then you don't know me. Hello, I'm Laria Petrucci from Live Streaming Pros, where we help you create professional live video that's uniquely you. You ready to get down to business? Let's do it. So the number 1 challenge is, of course, the small space. 850 square feet. This is my entire home. My Murphy bed is over there. And my living room is over there. My kitchen is here. That's all we got. A lot of people complain about not having a lot of space to be able to build a studio out. And I'm here to tell you, you have 0 excuses, because if I did it, you can do it too. Now, I built it out so that my living room is my studio background. That may not be possible for you, but even if you have just a small, area right here, you can still do it. It doesn't matter how much space you have, you can find a solution that works. I needed to make my living room the set so that I didn't have to build a set background in addition to having a living space. So that was my compromise, to have a camera always pointing in my living room.
This is not towards your bed.
It's just, exactly. At least the camera wasn't pointing in my bed. Another issue with small spaces is the mess. So this is, of course, the last bit of mess that I have to deal with and getting rid of in my studio. And so it's still a bit of a work in progress, but the beauty of a small space is the necessity of keeping it organized and clean. So in my living room, in fact, I actually have to keep my living room very clean because it's on camera. So benefit. Number 2 challenge is audio. I have a lot of echo in this place and outside noise. Yeah, lots of that. Trucks coming by. I live above a restaurant, so there's always noise from that. There's just a lot of echo and potential noise that goes on in this environment, and that should never stop you. First of all, it can be part of your show. I have a bell that goes off 4 times a day around here, and it can be seen or heard in the live streams. Well, guess what? I just make fun of it. I make it a thing. It's an engagement factor in the show if it needs to be. So there's never an excuse for not doing something just because you have some noise or echo. But you can also do some things to fix it or to compensate for the echo or the noise that you might have. So let's talk mics. In my old studio, I used to use a USB mic that sat on the desk itself. But in this environment, that mic was too far away from me, so it was picking up a lot of echo in this environment. So I went for a Rode NT-G4 Plus. And by the way, the NT-G4 Plus that I'm using, you may not necessarily need the Plus. You might be able to save money with the 4 because the Plus only adds a battery. So if you don't need that, you can use phantom power, good to go. Ecamm, my favorite Mac live streaming software that ever lived. So I can just choose it in the drop-down menu and control my levels, blah, 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 make me sound lower or better, and voila, it's ready to go. Now, if this whole streaming software intrigues you, it's super intuitive, super easy to use, gives you professional live streams. I've got a free training series for you, as well as a free trial to the software, Ecamm. Again, it is my favorite Mac streaming software. I use it day in and day out. Livestreamingpros.com/Ecamm will get you that training, it will get you that free trial. Super easy to get started with professional streaming. Another thing I did to compensate for the echo that is in this studio is get the mic really close to me. You can see it's very, very close. And in the camera, you can't see it, but it is just out of frame. So that will help with any echo or any environmental noise that you have to deal with. And by the way, if you want to know more about all of the gear that I'm using, I'm not going in depth about that. There's a whole separate video that goes in depth. We get geeky about the gear, so definitely watch that. That link is in the description. And of course, in our studio workshop, we teach you how to create all of this, how to put it all together, step by step, what gear to buy so that you're not making mistakes. Livestreamingpros.com/studio. The other thing you can do for audio is rugs, and of course, all the dog beds that your dog can enjoy. But anything like these rugs can help dampen the sound and the echo. Now, I use shag. It's not the 70s, but the shag actually is much better than a low pile carpet. So that's why I go that way. And everybody in my streams always refers to this as snow because of how it looks on camera. And you can't go wrong with snow. Can you, Abs? Or more dog beds. The number 3 challenge that I deal with in this place, and you probably will deal with in your video studio, is natural lighting. I have so many windows in this place. I love it, but it's challenging for a video studio. I have this window. I have this window. I have this window and a samurai sword. And this window. And this window. So many windows. So as you can see, that's a lot of windows, a lot of natural light. And here's the kicker. Even though what we teach you to do is to block out any natural light, because that's the best way to build a video studio so that you control the lighting fully with actual studio lights so that you don't have changing light all the time. I refuse to do so because this is my home. This is my living space. It's everything I want it to be a light, airy, bright environment. And that was really important to me. So I refused to do exactly what I teach and thought there has to be a way to deal with this. So we've gone through a lot of changes, a lot of challenges, a lot of messing around and figuring out what to do about this particular issue. And I think we got it. And if you're not familiar with why windows are a problem, why natural light can be an issue, you see this is all blown out and it's not a pretty look for video. But if we change the exposure for the windows themselves, guess what? I'm a dark blob. Who wants to look at that? What?
No, it's just like, it's literally like, it's like
you can't even see anything. Where am I?
Yeah.
So that's why we actually normally recommend blackout curtains. And here's the thing, I tried blackout curtains, but I told you a light, airy environment. I love windows, I love natural light. I love opening these windows. I have no screens, like the whole thing was so important to me. I actually hung some blackout curtains, and even in an open state, they dimmed the entire apartment. And I wasn't okay with that. It made me depressed, and that's no way to live. So I took the blackout curtains away. One thing we're about to try is this. This is Indie Filter Film, or neutral density. It's like sunglasses for your window so that the exposure isn't so blown out and the camera actually can expose correctly for it and me at the same time. So let's see how that goes. Will it work? Will it won't? Who knows? I'm getting attacked by the plants. All right, we have a few tools to do the job. We've got a measuring tape, scissors, a credit card. This is actually a Safeway gift card. so that I don't show you my credit card number. And what I'm gonna do is measure the inside of these windows. 11.5 plus a little mark.
What's a little mark? There you go. Now you can put it
Really?
on. Yes. I like how this instructional tutorial by Lurie has turned into cameraman teaching Lurie.
I've never done this before. You're the one teaching me.
Yeah.
Yep, just like that. Good job, Lurie.
Nice. Isn't that so satisfying?
Kind of is, actually, yeah.
It's therapeutic.
Wow. I was so gonna go amateur. Look at me.
That looks really good.
Only 23 to go.
Now that I've been using the indie filters for a while, there are a couple of things to note. One, the bubbles. I have to keep getting the bubbles out, so I did not apply them correctly the first time, so I may have to redo it entirely at some point. But you can't see that on camera. Only I can see it while here, looking out my window. So that's something, right? The other thing is, on a dark day, we are in the middle of winter right now when shooting this, it's actually really perfect. But if I have a sunny day, this still gets blown out. This whole window still gets blown out on the video background. So coming into spring and summer, I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. We'll tackle that later though. I've got a bonus challenge for you though. We do that, let's hop on over here. Ooh. The number 4 challenge is, of course, cables. And I am not gonna be able to show you what I do with cables just yet because I'm still waiting on one last part to make sure I can hide all of these cables efficiently and effectively so that it's beautiful to look at. But you'll just have to wait for the cable video where I dive deep into all of my tips and tricks for cable management. If you want to check out the video all about cable management and the entire studio setup through the past few months, then check out this playlist right here and I will see you in the next video.